Thanks for clicking on this video. My name's Darren and this is Electro Savvy, where I talk about electricity, tools, and tech. Today I have another interesting device and it is by Eaton and it is called a motor protector fuse holder. Back in the day, before breakers were invented, these were little round fuses about the size of a 50-cent piece, a little bit bigger than a quarter in diameter, and they would just screw right into a fuse holder and it would protect a circuit, kind of like a breaker does today. It looks something like this. So if one of these fuses burnt, you would need to go into the fuse panel, find out which one is burnt, unscrew it, and replace it with a new one by looking in a little glass window that this thing has. Hopefully you could identify why it burnt before replacing it. This is specifically called a motor protector. So if you have an electric motor plugged into this with a 10 amp fuse, if that motor gets hot and overloads, well, it's going to burn the fuse before the motor gets burned, therefore protecting the motor from further damage. Okay, y'all, I'm going to change the view and we're going to take a closer look at this thing, and I'm going to explain a couple other scenarios that you can use this in. All right, let's take a closer look. This would burn the fuse before the piece of machinery would burn up. So here's a closer look at the motor protector fuse holder. It's a handy box metal plate that is retrofitted with a 15 amp 125 volt receptacle. This is a spec grade outlet with the fuse holder. So this is basically like a little miniature panel. Once you have this installed, I'm gonna bring this handy box here. That is a regular handy box, a nail-on version. But once this is installed, I mean, it's basically like a little panel. Transform a handy box into a little fuse holder. So one of these fuses, like this, with the little clear sight glass where you can see if the fuse is burnt, actually just gets installed inside this thing. You just screw it down like so. Once it's in place, then the outlet is protected. If you look over, it is stamped 15 amp max 125 volt. So this was pre-wired. Out of the package, this was pre-wired just like this. And you're gonna wire the fuse side up first because the line needs to come here and it's going to protect the outlet. And that's pretty much it. A few other things you're gonna need to do this right is a grounding pigtail. This will be installed inside this box right here in this hole. And then it will just go straight over to this ground here. And a Romex connector. One other thing, if it's outside or under a barn, I would suggest you using UF cable. This is sunlight protected and it's also direct burial wire. This is some really good stuff, but that's what you would need for the application. But this box is going to be nailed straight onto a 2x4 stud. All right, well, let's go wire this thing. So we're going to be working with UF cable today, and one thing I do love these Milwaukee automatic wire strippers. One thing they can do excellent is strip UF cable. So if anyone knows about UF cable, it is hard and can be difficult to strip. But this wire stripper makes such easy work. Being able to do that means a lot. And then you can just strip out the length you need. Makes it very, very simple. This box is made to just nail right on. Now you probably will need to screw it or put a sheetrock nail or so in it just to make sure it's secure, but it does have these little nail tabs. You can see it right there. You just hammer those down. Once that's in, you can come back and screw a sheetrock screw or some kind of screw into it to hold it. So next, I'm going to remove one of the knockouts, and this bottom one is just as good as any. Kind of beat that in a little bit and get that knockout to where you can remove it. It's just like a disc-shaped piece of galvanized metal. The reason why I'm doing that is because I have this Romex connector. This is a must. This is going to secure the Romex. Our UF cable is what we're using in this application. Make sure that's nice and snug and go in the right direction. And if you want to take a few taps on that lock nut just to make sure. And get it nice and tight. Now I'm going to run this wire. Nice and snug. Real quick guys, if you're getting value out of this video and you would like to see more, please smash that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to leave me a comment. All right, back to the video. Alright, so I've got my box and my wire plugged down on a Romex connector. It's already pre-stripped, so this is the device. And what we have to do is run the neutral here on the silver screw. And we got to put the hot here on the brass screw. And the ground. The ground's going to go here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my strippers and make some hooks. with the neutral, twist the outlet around, and now here goes the brass. This is the hot. Okay, so now for the grounds, you want to make your hook like so, like that. And what I normally do is take my grounding pigtail, stick it through there like that. And what I'll do is I'll take my pliers and I'll close the gap where it kind of grabs onto it a little bit. And bend this shape. And a lot of people don't do this, and this is how you properly ground a metal box. With a pigtail. All right, so there's a little threaded slot in every handy box, and just about every metal box is going to have that grounding slot. All right, so I'm going to flip this outlet over, and then this is a lot easier to deal with because it already has the ends made up. Just tighten this down. All right, so that's it. Now you're properly grounded and everything can be shoved in the box and then screwed down. Let's start with this one. Alright, so that is done. Now we can turn the breaker back on. Okay, the tools that I've used today is the Milwaukee 7-in-1. This is an excellent tool. It is a stripper, it is a needle nose, and it even has that flat tip where you can grab wires and do anything you need to do as far as electrical. It's a bolt cutter and everything. Next is my ratcheting Klein 14-in-1 screwdriver. This is another excellent tool. I use it every day now. Next is something that I'm very impressed with, and that is the Milwaukee automatic wire strippers. That was the easiest that I've ever stripped UF cable. Stripping UF cable was a piece of cake with this device. Other than that, I always use good meters. This is my Fluke amp meter and voltage tester. And I use my screw gun. So what this fuse holder does is protect any device that's plugged into the outlet. There are many different uses that you can get out of this. Well, that's just about it for this video. I hope you like the content, and I hope that this device will be useful for you around your home.